Well, Phyllis, I'm very excited to be sitting down with you today and sharing with you some artwork that I thought you would really love. And given that we're about to go on this big, beautiful trip together,
Yes.
how appropriate to look at an artwork that is all about travel and journey.
Wow. I am just totally amazed. I can't take my eyes off of this piece of work. Uh, Bisa Butler is the artist.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. And to see that this is all done with fabric,
It
Sabrina.
is fabric. Yeah, it's
Mm,
cotton, silk, and denim.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow, it just speaks to me. It's almost like, actually, I could even see myself as, is that the mother or the wife?
Right.
She almost looks similar to me, but not similar to me, but her gesture of being a woman and being prideful with her mate and her boys by her side, and the colors of the fabric. It it says so much to me. It just speaks to me. It infuses so many emotions. How can an artist do one thing like that? It's like, wow.
It's amazing. It's
Yeah.
really incredible to look at not just the kind of skill that she's displaying, but the kind of message and emotion that she's pulling out of you as you look at it. I'm
Mm.
curious, like when you're looking at this artwork, what is, where's the first place that your eyes travel to?
Um, Actually, the first place my eyes travel to is to the sun. That would be to my left or to the right. There are two boys. Is that
Mm-hmm.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My oldest child happens to be my son. He's my oldest. And so our journey together through life was very important to him and I.
Yeah.
And so, as a mother, he was an only child for 7 years, and so he was he was he was literally, glued to my hip. And so that actually reminds me of my journey with him and always walking together through life, right? And the father figure is so important. I was actually a single mom. And so at the time of raising him, having a mate in my life to help me raise my son was so important, right? And how he looked. He, being a debonair type of man so that my son could look up to. So that was really, really very important. So it's the son, and actually the other son too. Even though
Yes.
yes, he's amazing with his tie and all the colors that bring out so much. Wow! And then the background of it all. I mean, look
Yes.
at the background of this.
Yes, yeah, also
Right,
fabric. And
fabric.
we have to keep, reiterating the fact that every single piece that you see here is a different piece of fabric. So all the highlighting on the fingers and the face, the
Wow.
glint in the eye, all of that is different pieces of fabric. Every single piece. So you can imagine the kind of skill. And this is a small print of the larger piece, which
Wow.
is much more life size. And Bisa Butler is actually reimagining this story. So she doesn't know the story of this group, this sort of early 20th century travelers, but she is imagining them on this journey, going somewhere, this sort of dignified way of wearing these beautiful clothes and really feeling powerful. When I look at
Oh
this,
yeah,
I
I
feel
can
like this
see
is a
that.
powerful family.
Yes, and even the art in his face, right? And I love the word that you just used when you said she's reimagining it, right? Because that's what art does.
Yeah.
It helps you live outside of the box, outside of your life, right?
Right.
To reimagine, I mean, traveling the world in such a colorful way,
Yeah.
different colors everywhere, right? Because isn't that what the world is made of, right?
Right.
Like a universe with so many different people,
Yeah.
colorful people, right?
Yeah.
And different dynamics and different cultures and
Yes.
different food.
Yeah.
And I mean, it says it all,
It does. And
right?
and you think further into her process as well, she would find archived photographs of black families and black people and black folks from this time period
Yes.
and reimagine all of their stories and bringing them back to life because she thought, hey, these are just going to get lost in the archives. No one's ever going to see them. But someone took those pictures in a really loving way, in a really intentional way. Imagine all your family photographs that you've been taking, but then they just get lost after a while.
I can't even imagine. When I think of recently in our time, the fire in California, and the most valuable things that people were running back were
photographs,
right? And for, unfortunately, were photographs for memories, because photographs tell the story.
Right, so she's taken these photographs, she's reimagined their stories and brought them back to life.
Wow.
So Sabrina, we're looking at these folk from another time that she has reimagined, brought to life, because she's thinking, hey, these stories, among many stories, are going to be invisible, they're going to be lost, and that's something that is mirrored in today's society now. Yes. Stories that are being lost, stories that are unheard. Yes. And here's an artist who's reimagining, bringing it back to life, bringing the focus, infusing it with color and fabric choices to really tell a story, to tell their story, and to tell really everyone's story.
Absolutely. And so, that has me thinking, we jumped right into this piece of work. But what even brings me here is my relationship with you through equity, art through equity. And we didn't even mention that. I would never be sitting here almost in tears, fixated on a piece of art made out of fabric that I could probably look at for hours and still be captivated, right? And the work that you do, right, is what brings that to life for the community, right? And here I am sitting in front of it and experiencing it all over again with you. And so I'm so sorry to jump right into the artwork, but tell us a little bit about you, Sabrina. Oh my God, and the work that you do with art through equity.
When you were saying that, I was thinking, when we first met,
yes,
that was such a kismet moment, wasn't it? It was just like, wow, you really understand what it is that I'm doing. Yes. And I was able to, when I was thinking about equity through art, which is my work, and I think, well, how do I want to bring folk into looking at art, to making connections with art, to having conversations with the artists and themselves in ways that they had not had before. And a lot of times people will look at art, maybe they'll look at it for 3 minutes, maybe they'll see one thing and move to the next. In fact, there's research to show when people go to museums that they'll only look at something for 3 seconds before moving to the next. So what I do is I actually have people sit down, and you've done this.
Yes, I have.
Sit down for 30 minutes, a long time, looking at one work of art and going really, really deep to really think about, who am I in relation to this artwork? And who are we in relation to this artwork?
Yes.
And what more can we say? What more can we find? Because let's go beyond the narrative that we tell ourselves. Let's spend 5 minutes longer thinking. Let's spend 2 minutes longer writing, and just pushing yourself a little further and a little further. And that's when the magic starts to happen. And you've experienced it when you hear something that someone else has said about an artwork, and you're thinking, wait, I've had that life story. You're telling my story. I hear it. And suddenly I start to feel a little bit okay about my story. I start to feel a little bit better, or a little bit more, I'm feeling in a way that perhaps I didn't allow myself to feel before. And someone else is now thinking, hey, I'm having that experience too. And we've brought that together through just looking at one work of art. And it's, always so amazing to me to have that moment when people have that aha, this is what art can do. I don't have to be an art person. I don't have to be someone who makes art, but I can talk about it. I can. And I feel like part of my work is empowering people to be able to have those conversations. It's just another way, or another entry point to have self-reflection.
Yes.
It's just, lean into it.
Yeah.
Lean into it. Think about what it is that you want to say.
Yeah. I actually didn't even know until I met you because there are things that you know about yourself that you know, and there are things that you know that you don't know. So I know I love red, right? And so I know I love red, and I know I love catfish. But, and I know I'm not a heart surgeon, so I don't know how to do heart surgery. So I know I don't know that. But there are things that I didn't even know that I did not know.
Yeah.
And it was the moment that I met you at the Blanton Museum, and we did the walkthrough tour on art, that something inside of me awakened. And you actually gave me the language that I didn't have before, because I didn't know what it was that I was missing. So like last week, I sent you an email and I said, I told you I was trying to do this Talk Tour Tuesday thing through the Blanton when I can have kids go through the museum and look at art. But I didn't know what Talk Tour Tuesday would be. I just knew that we needed to be at the museum, and I didn't know why.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I met you that all the pieces were threaded together, connected, and the fabric was threaded together. And then when I went through the Blanton for the third time, but this time with you, I looked at art in a totally different way. It was the first time, I think, and I think my children, when they watch this video, they could probably attest to it, other than being on an airplane, and if I was ever in surgery, my phone was off for the entire day. My phone was off for the entire day. And I didn't even realize my phone was going to be off, because after we looked at the first piece, that was on the Marvin Gaye album.
Yeah.
Right? And that was something I had seen over and over and over again. You know,
The Sugar Shack. That was the Sugar Shack by Ernie Barnes.
Oh,
yes. Yes.
My goodness.
Yes. That is a stunning work.
Oh my gosh.
In fact, I was just talking to a director from an organization today, and I was showing him this artwork, and we were talking about how this would work in terms of, could I bring a team? Could I bring my team? Could I bring my board members to come and see this work of art? And we started looking at the Sugar Shack, and we were thinking, well, within this great dance, you know, it's a beautiful dance. Which one of those, Mr. Director, would you be? And he's sort of looking in this room of dancers. Well, where would I be? Am I leading from the back? Am I dancing at the front? Am I waiting at the side? Am I calling time?
Oh my goodness.
You know, am I sitting on the chair? So, you know, where are you? What's your persona in your work?
Really?
Now let's ask you the rest of your team where they see you as well. Let's ask them, who do you think your ED is in this painting, and where are you? And now we're looking at the positionality within an organization, thinking about how the team functions as a dance.
Wow.
And all of that has come from just looking at Ernie Barnes' incredible, iconic artwork and translating it to thinking about how teams function. And as you know, what we're doing is creating a higher sense of trust. So as we're talking, as you're resonating, as you're being vulnerable, you're having to have that level of trust.
Oh, yeah.
It's coming out organically.
Yes.
Right? It's coming out organically. And so
Organically.
teams are now learning things about each other that perhaps they didn't know before.
Oh, wow.
And so now we're talking about, hey, our team is dancing together. Our team is you know, there's a synergy here.
Yes.
How do we amplify the music in the room?
Yes.
You know, and now we're having a whole other kind of language to leadership, to thinking about how teams function. And remember, all that's just come from looking at one work of art. So that's, you know, when I think about the application of what equity through art could do in terms of looking at how you saw it as an individual going through with just me, and then as going through again with a cohort of people, you know, a cohort of community leaders, in fact, your peers, and sort of hearing what they think about the artwork in relation to their own work, and then sort of seeing another application where teams are coming together to talk about how they function.
Oh, yeah.
So the application of looking at art, you know, as we started, it's great in the sense of, we can appreciate how beautiful it is, but what more can art do for us? When we start to lean into the fact that art is a space for reflection, now we can go anywhere. Now we can reflect on anything. And we don't have to have conversations that feel confrontational like this. We can aim it all here, and we can talk all here.
Oh, yeah, that's so true. I never thought about that. Yeah, because, it could be a confrontation, not a conversation. But when you're looking at the art, it's totally different, right?
You're looking here. You're not doing this.
Actually, as we're sitting here talking, there's so much more coming out.
There's so much more.
That I want to ask you about.
There's so much more. Yes, ask me. It's so much more.
And so when she did this piece, what was the main story for her with this piece?
Yeah, I mean, this is a family who is traveling, and the artwork is actually called Black Star Family,
Okay.
First Class Tickets to Liberia. That's
Wow.
the whole title.
Oh, wow.
And Black Star Family is in reference to the boat, the Black Star line of boats.
Okay.
Yeah, on their way to Liberia, which is, a settlement in Africa for freeborn and previously enslaved Black Americans that was sort of moving back into those spaces.
And actually, when you look at the son, who's a little bit older, he's actually in his body language saying we've arrived.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, are you seeing it as they've arrived, or are they about to leave?
They're arriving.
Oh, they're arriving.
Right. That's the way
there.
I see it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then you see, then there's another piece. Like,
yes.
if you were sitting with someone else and they'll say, well, actually, I feel like they're about to leave. This is the moment where they look like they have all that wonder in their eyes and they're about to go on this big journey. But you see it as, no, we've arrived.
Yeah, because even the gentleman with the stark look on his face, but not sad, right? Because I think when you're leaving someplace, you have worry.
Yeah.
He looks content.
Yeah.
Okay, this is where we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
He's
so
like,
much trust.
He's like, yeah.
What do you think about the fact that her skin color is completely different? Did you see that? Because oftentimes, I actually did not see that when I first looked at it.
I did.
It was not something that jumped out at me, but it made me think that the skin color of the boys and the men being so blue is somehow creating an almost a fiery halo look around her. What do you think?
I agree. I didn't pick up on that.
It's interesting, isn't it? I didn't see it until actually somebody was asking me, because I have...
Yeah, because his eyes are deepened. They are, the boys are more of a bluish, and she's got like the halo with a glow,
yeah,
right?
this sort of fabric around her,
yeah.
her hat.
Yes.
Yeah, almost like a wedding hat in some ways.
Almost
sort
like
of
a wedding.
The tulle of a... Yeah, there's all of that sort of going on too. So now we can start looking a little deeper and a little deeper as to why is the skin color presented that way? Why has she chosen to use blue? Why starting to get really curious and asking questions about the artwork. If the artist was here, what would you ask her?
Yeah, why did she choose blue?
Yeah, what was that choice about? And I think that's a good thing to think about when we're looking at artwork. It's not about just sort of receiving the art.
Right.
And it's not about, a curator or an educator telling you this is what it's about. It's an invitation for you to ask questions. It's an invitation for you to get curious about choices that artists are making to tell a story. And because you're doing that, by you asking questions, now you are entering into that artist process too. You're
Sabrina, I never thought of that.
You're not removed, you're not passive.
Yes.
You're right in there with the artist, getting curious, questioning her choices. That's now you are a part of that artwork in a way that's, inextricable.
Yeah, I guess one of the questions I would ask her is why the different fabrics all over the entire piece of art.
Yeah.
The arm of the boy to the right, the jacket that the father's wearing, right? The blazer, almost like a clown here, but a subtle color, a subtle design there, not so flamboyant.
It's subtle, but it has Nelson Mandela's face right on it. Do you see that? You see that?
Oh my goodness!
You did not see that? Do you see that?
I do. That just gave me a chill.
It's subtle, but it's also extremely. It's almost dead center as well. It's almost dead center of the artwork. You see a pattern of Nelson Mandela's face on the lapel and on the side of his jacket.
And so his face, which is blue.
Yeah.
He is the face of Nelson Mandela.
It's so fascinating.
Oh, geez.
It's so layered. It's so layered and complex. And the more we get to go deeper and deeper into uncovering, it's almost like being a detective.
Oh, I see that.
But you're not just discovering her work. You're discovering yourself through her work.
Oh, my goodness.
So, having that sort of recognition of, hey, I'm asking questions that perhaps I wouldn't have asked before. Or I'm getting curious about things that I didn't know I could. It's a whole other way of being visually literate.
Wow, I can't even take my eyes off of it. That's amazing.
It's stunning. It's amazing. And, this is just one of her incredible works. Every single piece of this is fabric.
Well, and where is the larger display of this? Chicago?
Yes, I think so. She just had a large exhibition in Chicago, so but she's exhibiting all over the world. She may have some work in London, in fact.
Wow. Wow.
I'm gonna find
Amazing.
it. We're gonna go see it.
Amazing. Wow. I mean, before we run out of time, I think that everyone is going to want to know more about you. So before we dive back into the last pieces of this artwork, how could anybody find you, Sabrina? I mean, well, first of all, how did I find you? How was I so
Did you
lucky?
find me? You know what?
Who told you about me? You sent me an email.
Yes, I did. I sent you an email because someone had told me. It may have been. I'm not sure.
Eric Bird.
It may have been.
Eric Bird.
It may have been. He told me that you were one of the nicest, most generous people that he'd ever met, and that I had to meet you.
Wow.
And that, so, and then when we did, it was just like,
yes, it was like,
I was like, oh yeah, of course,
yeah.
because you understand, you really understand what I'm
well,
saying.
how could others find you? You are a jewel, and I cannot keep you to myself. I just have to share you with the world. And I hope that I've been doing that through my writing, on social media, and sharing with you with my friends, and taking up the majority of your life.
Yeah. No, you are such a huge champion for me.
No, and you have a full
really
life. You're
do.
working on your doctorate degree. You're a
am.
wife and you're a mom. And you traveled all over the world.
That's
You've done
right.
museums in Cairo.
That's
and
right.
where else?
I forget that I've.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like,
you told me this earlier, so people don't know. I was like, yes. I've been, I'm British, as you can hear. I grew up there.
Yes.
And I actually started my journey in the film industry.
Yes.
So I don't know if you knew that, but I
You did tell me that, yes.
Started working on the Harry Potter films.
Yes, the Harry Potter films.
And I was, working on the set designs. So you like Harry Potter, I made all the Quidditch things, the snitches and stuff. So I moved to Egypt and started educating there, and it was just immediately creative. Immediately.
Wow.
Teaching is the most creative thing that I can do. And I paint. I do all of those types of things, but to me, making those split decisions and collaborating with people on the moment, it's so creative.
I have to ask you, and I'd be remiss if I didn't. What is your vision for Austin? You have taken about 3,000 children through an education through the arts.
Yes.
Walking through the arts at
That's
the Blanton.
right.
A lot of people don't know that about you. What is your vision for Austin? You are so passionate about the arts, and I love that you're so passionate about the arts. And everyone knows my age. It's 65 years old. And to find you, you are a jewel. And performing arts, I've been to every show there is on Broadway. But fine arts and understanding the story of an artist, you've opened that piece of my soul.
I want that for Austin. That piece, what you just said, that's what I want. What I'm seeing is a city that is growing really fast. It is getting chaotic.
Yes.
People are working so hard. People are working so harder than I've ever seen. People are working so hard. And I really want to advocate for people to slow down. And that's easy for people to say.
Yes.
That is so easily said than done. Really, really. But art is a way that we can do that. We can slow down if we give that time to ourselves. And I want to see an Austin that is being reflective, that has a reflective practice. Which is what I'm trying to show that you can do through art. If we are people that can continually reflect on who we are, where we're going, what our journey is going to be, where we're starting, where we're going, who we're taking with us, what's our history, what does it look like going forward? What is the land that we're trying to create together?
Yes.
But we have to stop and we have to slow down and we have to reflect.
Yes,
we can't just keep having conversations. We can't just keep doing.
Yes.
All of those things have to happen too, but we have to have that moment of reflection. And what I want for Austin is to create spaces in different areas and different pockets all over the town.
And
to
you've
come
been doing
together.
that. We're going on your second cohort.
Coming together. Second cohort is
right?
happening.
Yes.
And the first cohort brought leaders from different spaces.
It was amazing.
Educators, lawyers, folks working with the formerly incarcerated, folks working with, children coming across the border, coming together. Those are the kinds of folks that are coming together to reflect.
We only have a couple of minutes left, and there's no way that people are going to watch pieces of you and not want to know how to donate.
Yes.
How to get involved. I mean, there is such a big arts community in Austin, and there are such art givers.
Yes.
That if they see this piece, they're going to want to give to you, just like I do.
They should.
Yeah,
yes.
They should. They should.
Absolutely.
So tell everybody where they can find you at.
So please find me www.equitythroughart.com. Mm-hmm. I'm also at Equity Through Art on Instagram. That's where you'll find all the donation
platforms.
And I think,
if you Google the name Sabrina Phillips,
it will populate with all the things that I am doing.
Yes.
It is very easy to find me. Equity Through Art, equitythroughart.com. I'm all over. I am available to work with teams, to work with different kind of audiences, youth programs, board retreats, education programs, senior programs, intergenerational programs. We could take this in so many. It could be so many. Think of the application, think of what you need, come and find me, and I will make something happen where your group of people or your friends even are going to come together and have an entirely different, unique experience that will stay with you.
Yes. And I know for sure that you will have a unique experience because I was a part of one of her first cohorts, and I've been changed from the day that I've met Sabrina. And so anyone who contacts her, I can definitely tell you will be changed. And we need arts in the community. I mean, it's just that simple. There's nothing more to say about that. I mean, we need arts and education in the arts. And Sabrina Phillips is golden. Golden!
Thank you so much.
So we enjoy having you in the city. And this piece of work, oh my God. I still can't take my eyes off of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm going to find an original for you, and we're going to go see it.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. I would love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, audience. Thank you.